Welcome back as we continue off with the conversations. NamPower's Education, Training and Development Unit has the responsibility to train and develop employees and members of the public. Now, the section coordinates and facilitates various training programs for both employees in-house and externally. We're now joined by Mercy Situmbeko, who is the manager for Education, Training and Development at the NamPower Training Center, and she basically spoke on employer-led training excellence yesterday in the conference. She's now joining us just to educate us more on that and perhaps some of the opportunities that NamPower has to offer when it comes to the TVET sector. A very good morning, Mr. Tumbeko, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Dapeo, and thank you for having me.
All right. I
Yes.
mean, I did give away a little bit on the Education, Training and Development Training Center that you have at NamPower, but kindly perhaps just break it down for us in layman term.
Look, in layman term, I would say the education, training, and development of NamPower. We're looking at, so I'm responsible for, let's say, bursaries, sponsorship,
Yeah.
as our corporate social responsibility. So we sponsor bursaries, but we also manage and have a vocational training school or center where we develop electricians, fitter and turners. These ones are for both the consumption of NamPower, but also for the public.
Yeah.
When they graduate, we have qualified high voltage electricians, we have fitter and turners. So, but we're also responsible for the skills upgrade of the employees. So all employees in NamPower, whether it's IT training, whether it's finance training, whether it's leadership development, all that is the responsibility of Education, Training and Development Department.
Yeah. You're
Yes.
part of the conference yesterday and you spoke. Can you just talk to us as to what you covered on and why you deemed it important?
So yesterday I spoke on the employer-led excellence when it comes to developing a pipeline, but more so it was about, how do we actually close the gaps between the concern of almost every industry is that there's a mismatch between what vocational training centers are producing skill-wise compared to what employers are actually looking for. And it's something that I was saying, look, as vocational training center and education centers, we really need to be proactive and really engage the employers out there and say, hey, what exactly do you need? I have this, or we have developed this. So there is that partnership. There should always be that partnership between vocational training centers, the Namibia training authorities, but more so the employers, the industries and stuff like that. Because we need to make sure things are changing. I mean, we're talking green hydrogen, we're talking solars. So it's up to us as vocational training providers to really reach out to employers, our relevant employers, whether you're in tourism, whether you are in my case, energy. I need to be going out and finding out what is it that you are requiring as an employer, the technical departments. We need to be more proactive so that we can improve the confidence that employers have in our products.
I hear you.
Yes.
So how would you encourage greater participation for industrial organizations in curriculum development and also just providing on-the-job training opportunities? Because at the end of the day, as much as this training is being offered, most people actually learn on the job.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when it comes to on-the-job learning, what we do, for example, with us at NamPower,
Yeah.
there is, for example, a year where literally 6 months, the employees or the trainees, both employees and trainees, the trainees are actually attached to a technical department.
Yeah.
The trainees, but on the job learning, we are also implementing what we call the recognition of prior learning. Because the reality of vocational training, we always say it's hands-on.
Yeah.
And when it's hands-on, it means that it doesn't matter what you read about something. It's about actually proving, showing results. And showing results means being practical, applying whatever it is that you know. So we have found a way to start assessing that experience of what people know, and we document it. So documenting, taking what we call the on-the-job learning, tracking with regards to as a trainee or an employee. This is what I've been exposed to. I sign it off and the supervisor signs it off as well. Because this is just the industry when it comes to vocational training, whether you're doing it the automated option or the hands-on, physical hands-on. It must be documented and it must be assessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you ensure that the curriculum remains aligned with the latest industry trends and technical advancements? Like you mentioned earlier, we have new industries coming up, green hydrogen, oil and gas. How do we align the curriculum with those?
So to align the curriculum, look, we do have our regulators, the NTA, but like I mentioned earlier, it's really up to us as vocational trainers or institutions and providers to really always, because the NTA cannot do everything. We really have to be proactive. So it's up to us. Look, for example, at NamPower, the instructors there, as part of their performance management review, I have made it such they reach out to the technical departments. It's their job to make sure that whatever they are imparting in the class is still relevant. What is the latest on the market? So with my instructors, in fact, they just came back from Omburu, the new solar power station. It's their job to make sure that whatever they are teaching, is it something that they're going to be proud of? Let's say, oh, green hydrogen has employed my trainees, or the solar Omburu has a demand for my trainees. There's a certain, satisfaction that comes with that. But if you're not upgrading and updating the curriculum based on the current need, you become redundant. And again, that's where employers actually lose what you call trust and faith in our products.
Yeah. So what is your process when it comes to gathering ongoing feedback for vocational training institutions on content that is basically relevant?
Sorry, say that again?
So what is your process of gathering ongoing feedback from vocational training centers on content that is relevant?
So the good thing is, we've become a community of vocational training centers, as well as mostly also most of the processes also initiated through the NTA. But one thing that is happening currently, for example, we have a lot of interactions with Rundu VTC, Okakarara VTC, like I said, because we've become a community. So the collaborations that are happening there, they really make us have conversations. They really bring out platforms. And it's also platforms such as this, the Wild Skills. And based on, for example, yesterday's or the current conference that is taking place, we have a lot of networking that happens. For example, we reaching out, we collaborate a lot with, say, Zambezi vocational training. So we see, hey, what do you have? What do you need? This is what we have. No, Mercy, can we actually bring our trainees to you just for exposure and say? So there is this sort of sense of community when it comes to vocational training centers. But like I say, also now and then we also still reach out to our regulators, the NTA, in that regard and see, hey, how do we do that? Can you guide us? Because whatever we do, we also make sure that we must be doing it accordingly. And yeah.
All right. Mr. Tumbeko, perhaps before we let you go, where do you see employer-led TVET programs in the next 2 to 3 years, and what would your role be in driving that vision?
Honestly, my role in that is I really see it as if we really become very proactive, honestly, TVET will be big. And I think TVET will be the go-to, where we'll start having conversations about, do you want to go to TVET, or, if you can't qualify for TVET, it's okay, you can go and be a lawyer. So the conversation will be on the other way around.
So it must be a first option and
it
not
must
a
be
second
a first option, because
choice.
our reality in NamPower is, for a country, is economic stability. It's about, we always look at the roads. We always at the infrastructure, the waters, the buildings, and all those. Come on, they're from vocational training. And if we really impact or embrace employer-led, where there's always these conversations, consultations, honestly, I feel like my role is to push my fellow TVET providers, my fellow managers at centers to say, know what industry, know who your customers are, whether you're in tourism, know the Gondwanas of this world. What are they looking for? What is the latest? What are the feedbacks that they're getting from their tourists? And let's focus on that,
All right.
So, hey.
Amazing, Mr. Tumbeka. Thank you so much for joining us. All the best with the conference today again, and all the best with the competition. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you so much for having me.
All
Have a good
right.